What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the video. Hope you guys are good. Merry Christmas. We are pretty deep into December now, and I thought I'd put a video out to you guys to talk to you about what life is like as an Amazon seller. So, if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in running an online business. You may be running an online business at the moment, but I thought to myself, before I started any of my online ventures, when I was working as a school teacher, I was always very intrigued about what life was actually like when you ran an online business. So I'm going to talk you guys through one of my online businesses and sort of the things that I go through on a day-to-day basis, the good things, the bad things, and the ugly things. So give you some insight into what it's like. I hope you guys find it useful and interesting. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Seriously, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me loads, and enjoy the video. Right, guys, we're going to jump straight into this video. Now, this is just going to be direct and raw, straight to the point. I'm not going to be reading off a script. We're going to be talking from the heart, talking about all the different things that I like and dislike about Amazon FBA, a little bit about my journey, and talk to you about what it's like to run an online business, because it's not all good. A lot of people will paint that picture, but it's good to have a clearer idea of what things are actually like. So we're going to give it to you straight as we can today. Now, if you guys don't know, I'm an Amazon FBA seller. I have an online mentorship business that I run along with other online businesses that run alongside those two. And, for me, it all started about 5 years ago when I made the decision to start an online business myself. Prior to that, I was working as a teacher, lots of different jobs, doing supply work around the UK, delivering essential skills, working in schools, teaching. And, although I got fulfillment from that work, I didn't find that it was enough for me. So I was always looking for something more. I remember when I was living at my parents' house about 6 years ago, I would always be saying to my sister, look, I really want to start an online business, right? But I've got absolutely no idea how to do it. What can we do? And we'd be sitting at the table, I'd get home from work and we'd brainstorm different ideas, things that we could do. I remember once we were looking at creating a company that bottled water because we had a big lake with a natural stream running into it that was drinking water, and all these crazy ideas, right? And it was actually through a friend of mine that I discovered something called Amazon FBA. If you guys don't know what Amazon FBA is, you can have a look at some of my previous videos that look at how it works. But essentially, we create an online brand and we sell our products to millions of customers on Amazon. But it was actually through a friend that I discovered Amazon FBA. I didn't actually find out about FBA on YouTube. I was quite lucky in that respect. One of my friends was selling on Amazon himself, making some good money. So that sort of sparked some interest from me, because I was working long days, pretty tough days with long hours. And, I would speak to him at the end of the day in the gym, and he would tell me how he's gotten on that day. And he wouldn't have done a huge amount of work for the amount of money that he was bringing in, which, got me excited about the idea of creating an online business. So fast forward 5 years, and in that time, I've managed to quit my job as a teacher, start an Amazon FBA business, which has generated over £500,000 in sales since its inception. I've managed to create a mentorship program that's been running for about 4.5 years now. We have thousands of students who sell on Amazon, who I guide through the process. And I also have some other online businesses that I run alongside those two as well. So all these sort of opportunities stemmed from that decision initially to just take action and go for it, right? But transitioning now into being an entrepreneur and sort of running a business from my laptop, essentially, it's not all great, right? And some days are worse than others. And I wanted to just, again, give you some insight into what it is actually like. So I'll talk about some of the things I like about running an online business firstly, and then I'm going to jump on into some of the things that I dislike. So if you're thinking of starting a business, consider some of these things before you decide to move forward with the idea. Firstly, one of the things that I really enjoy about running multiple online businesses is that I'm able to manage my own time. So time was a big thing for me, right? We've only got 24 hours in a day. You sleep for 8 of it. Potentially work for 8 of it, right? So that's 2/3 of your day just wiped out from sleep and work. And you've got 8 hours left to enjoy your free time, which A lot of it is in the morning and in the evening when you may have other commitments and you don't actually have a huge amount of time to go and do the things you love, right? So that was a big passion of mine, or a big sort of motivator at the beginning, to get something off the ground and begin. And even 5 years on now, it's one of the things I value a lot. I do value having my own free time and be able to manage my own time without being told what to do, and having sort of a fixed time to go into work and a fixed time to leave, and being shouted at by someone throughout that day. So that's one of the things that I really, really appreciate about running an online business. And over the last 5 years, having that time that is freed up through effective work rather than just exchanging your time for money has meant that I'm able to travel around, I'm able to work from different coffee shops, I'm able to spend time with my family, I'm able to do lots of different things, and I have lots more time in the day. So that's one of the things that I really like. Another positive thing, something that I really enjoy and value a lot, is the sense of achievement, right? So, I was always, or I am, not always, I am the youngest there's 5 of us, but we've got 3 brothers, and, they were all went to university, they've all got very good jobs. I went to university as well. But at the same time, you've always got a little bit of competition, right, when you're in a family. And I really wanted to make something for myself, right? And I didn't particularly want to do the conventional route. So, get a degree, qualify, get a good job, do a graduate scheme, move my way up the hierarchy in that particular job. It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to create my own business, right? And it's one of the things I don't think is taught enough in school, how to, learn about business. Although I did business studies, don't particularly feel like it taught me much. So, being able to actually create your own business, you do get a massive sense of achievement from that. And when you're self-sufficient, so, actually making my own income, I'm in control of how much income I make depending on the amount of work and the work rate that I am operating at that particular time. So yeah, I mean, it's been pretty cool being able to create something, and it's worked, right? All the different things that I've done, there was an element of risk that was associated with them when I started, but ultimately, I'm only going to live once. I wanted to try it, give it a go, see how it went. And now one of the things I value a lot is the fact that I was able to do it. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys is when I initially had the sort of the motivation and the drive to start something myself online. Well, I say start something myself online. Actually, this is my point. Initially, I was looking to just start a business, right? I was willing to have a brick and mortar business, potentially something that would require a lot of time input on my behalf to be able to build up and to make a success of. And it never really dawned on me that something could be created online that had quite a passive nature to it. So that really only came to me through discovering Amazon FBA. So what I mean is, with Amazon FBA, when I first launched my first product, it became very clear to me that, wow, not only am I able to create a business from this, but I'm actually going to be able to run it from my laptop without putting hours and hours and hours in each day, for example, compared to an 8-hour day at work. From the work that I did with my FBA business, it was quite clear that you were able to do it with a few hours a day. Now, what that meant is I was obviously, again, feeding into my previous point of having much more time. So one of the things that I really love from it is its passive nature, right? So the day before yesterday, it generated £1,000 worth of sales on Amazon, and I didn't do anything that day. So I did no work specifically focused on that FBA business. All of my products and listings are live, the images are done, the research has been done, the reviews are gathered, my campaigns are being optimized, but not on a daily basis. And everything sort of runs in the background, right? Which is not normal, right? It's not normal, especially when you've never done something like that. It almost just seems completely alien and not possible. My brother, for example, he runs a successful restaurant, but it's very time intensive. It's an awesome business, but he has to put lots and lots and lots of time on a daily basis, 12, 14-hour days into that business. Whereas with something like FBA, you're able to manage your time a lot better. So the passive nature of the business is something that really draws me in. And does that mean that you don't have to do any work? Absolutely not. And people will say that Amazon FBA isn't completely passive. I would agree. Of course, it's not completely passive. You've got to put a lot of work in, especially at the earlier stages, to source a product, to launch the product. And even when a product's launched, you're going to be doing work on that product, the listing, advertising, and looking for more products. But absolutely, it has got a degree of passivity, and I would describe it as a passive business model. I also have a property that I rent out, and some people would say property is passive, but at the same time, I still have to do things with that business as well. So it's not completely passive. So it's all about really the degree of passivity. And I would describe FBA as being very passive myself, depending on if you're constantly looking for new products to launch, because again, that does tend to eat into a lot of your time. So those are some of the good things that I like, right? Those things, as well as obviously making money, being one of the most important things, because that's what keeps it all going, right? Money in the bank account doesn't make me happy personally, but it does facilitate lots of other things. So it means that I can continue to live the life that I do. I can continue to invest and reinvest in different businesses, and I'm able to create that sustainability around it and do the things that I enjoy. So it's a facilitator, but it definitely doesn't just itself make you happy. So those are some of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about the good, and we're going to move on to some of the bad things that I do not like. So one of the downsides, and again, this is subjective really, it depends, it's relative to the person and what they do with their day, but you do sometimes feel a little bit isolated, right? And lonely. So, before I was working with, 10 or 20 people every single day, socializing, and you'd have annual gatherings at Christmas, you would see people after work for a drink, whatever you'd choose to do. But there was a lot of engagement with lots of people. And you can find that if you purely run an online business, and this doesn't really apply to people who do both, some people will work a full-time job and do Amazon FBA, but myself, I have multiple online businesses, none of which require any involvement really on a face-to-face basis with other people. So one of the downsides of that is I'm on my own quite a lot. So you can imagine when you're on your own quite a lot that you can get lonely. It can be a little bit frustrating sometimes. You can feel a little bit isolated from what's going on around you, which is why it's so important to make an effort to see friends, to work from places like coffee shops, which I do, to try to be around people, right? You don't want to lose those social skills. If you're just a recluse working on your own at home 7 days a week, that's it. You're probably going to suffer in some way mentally. So you want to try to keep engaged with what's around you. But that's definitely been a challenge, transitioning my whole life from being around a lot of people to then really not being around many people at all for the large majority of the day. So throughout that day, I'll spend time with my partner, we'll go for walks, I see friends. So I do those things because if I don't, you do feel isolated and you can get a little bit lonely. So I wanted to mention that because it's something to consider before you start selling, right? If you are, for example, not working, you have a big lump of cash that you want to invest in FBA, that's likely what it's going to be like, and you'll need to have put some effort in and work around that. Another thing that is something that I don't really like. I mean, no one likes this, but it can be quite stressful running your own online business or multiple businesses, because ultimately it is all down to you what the outcome is. So you really need to have good time management skills, and if you don't, and you don't have the motivation to go out there and learn and to make sure that you're ticking all those boxes every day, you can get very stressed. Basically, things can get on top of you quite quickly. Whereas in work, a lot of the time, you'll know what to do, you're being told what to do, you go out there and you do it. When you're running your online businesses, you've got to be proactive, right? You've got to use your initiative all the time, day in, day out, going there into your work environment, striving to improve and striving to make gains on a daily basis, and make sure that you are prioritizing all of your work and making sure that you're doing things in the right order based on those priorities. Because again, it can get very, very stressful and things can get on top of you quickly if you don't. For example, your annual account, if you're not on the ball with those things, you're going to have letters chasing you up from HMRC. No one's going to make you do those things. You've got to be on the ball, making sure that you have these things scheduled into your diary and you are following them bit by bit. So if you haven't got good time management skills and you're not very self-motivated, it will be difficult to maintain an online business, in my opinion. And moving on to one of the last things, this is a funny one. I suppose this is really down more to my personality, right? I'm not the most patient person, right? I don't like waiting a long time for things. So to give you an example, we've just had a loft conversion that's begun on our property. And 9 months ago, they told us it would be 9 months if we were to choose this company to do the job. And wasn't interested at all. It was my partner that said to me, look, 9 months will go really quick. Just do it now, book it in, and it'll come around like that, right? Now, with FBA, you have to be patient. And it's something that I've learned over time and applied to business. Still not completely mastered it with my personal life, but with business, being patient, not just with general situations, but with people as well. Because for example, if you were to start learning about Amazon FBA, maybe you choose to buy a course, things don't just happen overnight, right? Things take time. And that can become quite frustrating when you're waiting for samples, negotiating with suppliers, having a breakdown in communication, waiting for your order to be manufactured and shipped over. There can be delays. Those things are very frustrating. And even with my last shipment, we've swapped suppliers, took a long time. There were still some issues along the way. And although I was able to manage those issues, nothing really has got just an immediate quick fix, or very few things. Things take time, right? Now, you have to be willing to be patient and to accept that you're not going to be able to get immediate results off the bat. But what I would say is, like with anything, nothing good comes easy, right? And you've got to put the effort in, and you have to be willing to invest time to get the results down the line. So guys, just literally an insight into what it's like when you are an Amazon seller. A few things that popped into my head today that I wanted to share with you. If you're thinking about starting an Amazon FBA business, have a think about those things. If you're interested in the Elite Academy, a mentorship, click the link below, have a read. We have got crazy results from students who have started and are now selling on Amazon. And yeah, I hope to hear from you guys soon.